Imagine this. Picture someone you love deeply. Your partner, your mother, your sibling. One night, you wake up to find them standing silently in the dark, motionless, muttering words you don't understand. At first you think it's just sleepwalking, something harmless, but night after night, their behavior grows stranger. They start talking to people who aren't there, acting as if they're hiding something, knowing things they shouldn't know. And their gaze, that empty stare, no longer feels like it belongs to the person you know. That's when doubt begins to creep in. Are they sick, possessed? Or worse, are they even themselves anymore? What once seemed like an innocent case of sleepwalking spirals into paranoia, dark secrets, and an unfathomable horror. Married to a Sleepwalker is a chilling web series created by the YouTube channel Vintage 8, built on this very premise. Daniel has spent 2 years documenting the peculiar sleepwalking behavior of his wife, Shelly. What initially seemed harmless has transformed into something far more terrifying. Over time, the events have taken a bizarre turn, one that may be threatening not only their lives, but potentially the entire world. The channel offers many other fascinating series, so if this one piques your interest, show your support for this video. It'll let me know you want more explanations and analyses of other series from this creator. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to help the channel grow and reach more people. Every like is one more coin to escape poverty. If you're unsure what to comment, feel free to type meow in the comments section, and I'll send you a heart in return. Before we dive in, I'd like to remind you that you can now become a member of the channel. Simply click the button that has appeared next to the subscribe button to enjoy a ton of exclusive perks while supporting me. If you'd like to join, I'd be eternally grateful. Without further ado, welcome to Married to a Sleepwalker. The series begins with Daniel and Shelly, a married couple experiencing a deeply unsettling situation. Shelly suffers from sleepwalking, but it's far from ordinary. Every morning, Daniel finds her standing in a specific spot outside their house, always in the same position, staring at the sky. What's even stranger is that this behavior never changes, and she has no memory of how she got there. If this already sounds bizarre and hard to explain, wait until you hear what comes next. Right from the start of the series, we see Daniel's house is full of cameras to monitor Shelly. As we'll see later, he uses these recordings to document everything and seek help online. The strange behavior doesn't stop there. After Shelly freezes in her usual spot, she begins emitting an eerie, guttural sound that seems to come from deep within her. You can hear it for yourself and draw your own conclusions. Many might think this is linked to some kind of demonic possession, especially given the time Shelly wakes up, 3:33 a.m., often referred to as the devil's hour. This would be a solid theory if not for two things. Later in the series, Shelly wakes up at different times and, spoiler, it has nothing to do with possession, so what's the deal with 3:33? It could just be a way to show that something is seriously off. The next morning, Daniel wakes up and goes to find Shelly. He already knows where she'll be. When he gets to her spot, he tries to wake her up. When Shelly finally comes to, their interaction seems normal. However, back inside, Shelly notices she's covered in bug bites. Understandable, considering she spent most of the night outside. What follows is a transition to a short interview Daniel conducts with Shelly. He asks how long this has been happening, and Shelly answers with unsettling precision.
2.5 years, 2 months, 3 weeks, and 1 day.
She also mentions that she has no history of sleepwalking or similar family issues. The only unusual event she can recall is that this behavior started 1 week after Daniel was hospitalized. Highly suspicious. Shelly vividly remembers the first time she woke up outside, describing it as terrifying, something you can't forget. Shortly after, a news segment introduces the Livingston virus, also known as LV. This virus is reportedly causing deaths in some individuals, though most infected people show only mild symptoms, or none at all. Authorities claim severe complications are rare. At this point, it's easy to suspect that Shelly might have been infected with the LV virus, especially after seeing her covered in what are likely mosquito bites. Could this be the cause of her strange sleepwalking episodes? In the next scene, Daniel is seen using mosquito repellent. It's here that a new character is introduced. The owner of the house Daniel and Shelly are renting. The landlord seems aware of the situation, but clearly uncomfortable, asking Daniel to keep this issue on his side and implying that he'd have no problem evicting them. What a jerk. We're then shown a scene where Shelly expresses her frustration over her failed attempts to get pregnant. Despite her determination, her anguish is evident as she talks about the emotional and financial toll it's taking. However, something feels off about this.
This little voice inside my head keeps telling me that this is just a waste of money.
While her words might seem normal, they take on a darker tone given the unsettling circumstances surrounding her. Finally, we see Daniel explaining that he's installed cameras inside and outside the house to monitor Shelly and capture any unusual events. He shares that his current goal is to let others see what's happening and, hopefully, find help from people who might be going through something similar. After over 2 years of professional assistance with no results, he's desperate for answers. Before the video ends, Daniel signs off with an appeal to the audience and a mention of the series' name.
Anyways, till then, this is Married to a Sleepwalker, signing off.
I like how they add this touch of realism, making it feel like we're watching the actual video Daniel uploaded to seek help. Let's move on and see what the next footage has in store for us. The second video begins with Daniel and Shelly talking before going to bed. Daniel explains that this time Shelly will need to sleep on top of a device designed to wake her up if she gets up during the night. The alarm will go off if there's no pressure on the device. A seemingly foolproof plan, right? As we learn later, the idea didn't come from Daniel, but from a viewer who commented on the previous video, going by the name Mr. Goldfish Superfan 97. Out of curiosity, I searched for a user with that name in the earlier video's comments, but couldn't find one. It's disappointing that the series misses the chance to involve the audience in the narrative, detracting from the realism it had established. Unfortunately, the effort proves futile as Shelly doesn't wake up despite the piercing alarm. This time, Daniel is also awake. He grabs his camera and decides to follow her. To his shock, Shelly has moved to a new spot, something she's never done before. When Daniel approaches her, he experiences something truly chilling. In that moment, Shelly wakes up, and Daniel shows her the recording. She seems genuinely surprised and even tries to mimic the sound she made in the footage, but she can't. And honestly, it's not something a normal person could replicate. Then we're shown a shot of Daniel's hand, bruised from the strength of Shelly's grip, so much so that he has to ice it. Daniel suggests consulting Dr. Lopez about these incidents, but Shelly dislikes the idea. She argues that the doctor will dismiss it as normal sleepwalking behavior and charge them an exorbitant fee for a simple consultation. However, Shelly acts strangely when Daniel suggests finding a different doctor, refusing the idea outright, highly suspicious. In the end, they decide to wait a bit longer to see if things improve before reaching out to Dr. Lopez. Next, we're shown a recording of Dr. Lopez explaining Shelly's sleepwalking could have various causes: neurological disorders, seizures, fertility medications, or anxiety. He rules out physical causes and focuses on anxiety, which he links to Daniel's near-death experience with the LV virus. Although Daniel survived, Shelly seems emotionally scarred by the trauma. We also learn that Shelly lost her unborn child at 1 month of pregnancy, around the same time the sleepwalking started. The couple has endured a series of losses: the baby, their home, financial struggles, and marital stress. Dr. Lopez recommends psychiatric therapy for Shelly, cautioning that it won't be a quick fix. Here's where things get stranger. Isn't it more logical to think Daniel might have infected Shelly with the LV virus, which could explain her bizarre symptoms? It's clear Daniel and Shelly are aware of this possibility. Does that mean they never had her tested for the virus, despite knowing it's contagious? There's a reason for this oversight, but it's too early to reveal it. Later, Daniel reviews the footage from the night and notices something he hadn't seen before. A figure standing next to them, mirroring Shelly's actions. Alarmed, he calls Shelly over to show her, but she claims not to see anything and argues that if someone had been there, they would have noticed earlier. How blind do you have to be to miss that? Ultimately, Daniel decides to upload the frame online, hoping someone can shed light on the mystery. The video concludes with Daniel reading emails he's received in response to his uploads. Among the usual hate comments, 2 messages catch his attention. The first, from someone named Carol B., suggests tying Shelly to the bed to prevent her from moving while sleepwalking. However, Daniel reveals they've already tried this, with poor results. The second and more significant message comes from Mary Q., who becomes an important character later on. Mary Q shares that her husband has also experienced sleepwalking for 3 years and becomes aggressive upon waking. She recommends locking the doors and hiding the keys, a strategy Daniel finds incredibly helpful. Relieved to know others are dealing with similar issues, he feels less isolated. Daniel decides to respond, suggesting they stay in touch. And this is where the second video ends. The next video begins by establishing that a week has passed, and Shelly has not returned to her usual spot during her sleepwalking episodes. However, Daniel suspects her condition is worsening. She now experiences daytime blackouts more frequently and engages in increasingly strange behaviors, such as watching static on the TV while claiming to hear voices or getting rid of the mosquito repellent. These actions make it clear that Shelly's being controlled or influenced by something. From this point on, I'll tread carefully to avoid prematurely revealing what's truly happening for those who haven't pieced it together yet. As Daniel notes, things only go from bad to worse. Unfortunately, he soon encounters one of the most intense episodes so far.
Shelly? Babe, you awake? Shelly? Shelly? Honey? Shelly, I'm going to take that knife. Shelly, I need you to wake up. Shelly.
Dinner's ready. Oh, I guess I made a mess. I'm gonna get a broom. Are you okay?
After this unsettling incident, Daniel decides to implement Mary Q's suggestion, placing locks on all the doors and hiding the keys. Shelly is noticeably resistant to this idea, coming up with excuses and even mentioning that the voices in her head don't agree with the plan. Following a brief news segment reporting 2 new cases of the LV virus in children, we're shown a fascinating conversation. During dinner, Shelly confesses to feeling perpetually exhausted, as if trapped in a liminal state between sleep and wakefulness. She speaks of confusion between reality and dreams, questioning whether her current conversation with Daniel is real or merely a memory or dream. This raises profound reflections on the nature of perception and how her sleepwalking episodes have warped her sense of normalcy. Just imagine enduring such a situation. It must be horrifying. The conversation then shifts to reminiscing about the last time they both felt carefree and optimistic. After Daniel shares his answer, Shelly echoes the same date, adding that it's the only day she's certain truly happened. This episode focuses primarily on Shelly's reactions during her supposed sleepwalking episodes when all the doors are locked. Now I'll present the footage of the first few nights without interruption, allowing you to form your own conclusions. It's utterly chilling.
Well, at least I'm back to my usual spot.
Funny.
Come on, you must have told me.
There's no way I told you.
Well, maybe I saw you hide it.
You were in bed. And besides, you look like you were possessed. And why did you unplug the zapper?
I don't know. Maybe it was bothering the demons inside me.
I'm serious.
Well, come on, don't be ridiculous. I want to do it again.
Really? You don't find this the least bit freaky?
I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. This whole thing is weird. I just want to see what would happen if we tried it again.
After seeing what transpired, let me ask, do you still think this is just sleepwalking? The way Shelly behaves, the way she looks directly into the camera, she's clearly not asleep, but she's also not herself. It's evident that something inside her is controlling her. And the most unsettling part, how did she always know exactly where the keys were? It's as if whatever is inside her possesses some form of pseudo-omniscience or strange superintelligence. Upon reviewing the recordings, Shelly admits that whatever is inside her seems to be adapting. She describes it as a force with its own will, attempting to make her carry out its desires. Finally, she concedes to the gravity of the situation and asks Daniel to show the footage to Dr. Lopez, although she insists he wait until the next day for some reason. In the next scene, we see Daniel reacting to a video from Dr. Randall Barr. In it, Dr. Barr reveals that the LV virus has infected 70% of his staff within the last 2 weeks. This statistic underscores the rapid spread and devastating impact of the virus, showing that mosquitoes aren't the only vectors. According to projections, 99% of the Western population could be infected or dead within the next year due to complications, introducing a truly apocalyptic dimension to the story. While he mentions efforts like quarantines and vaccine development, it's clear that no effective solutions have been found yet. Before Daniel can finish watching the video, he is interrupted by a strange noise. The terror begins anew.
Shelly. Time to wake up. So what you about to do, sweetie?
Don't follow.
I warned you. You're lucky she loves you.
Shelly! Shelly! Shelly, wake up for God's sake! This is all my fault. Should have called the freaking doctor. I'll never forgive myself if something happens to her. She's never wandered out this far. I swear she's gonna wake up and not know where the hell she's at. Or worse, she just stays asleep. Damn it! Hey, who's there? Shelly? Like a dumbass, left my phone at home. Morning has to be a couple hours away. God, this is as bad as it gets. I mean, there are bodies of water everywhere. She can't swim. Wild animals. These freaking mosquitoes.
What happened? Your wife take the night off?
Where the hell have you been? Well, I was thrilled to wake up in my own bed for once.
So you don't remember anything about last night?
I never remember anything. What did I do?
Daniel later shows Shelly the recordings again. As usual, she remembers nothing. Afterward, Shelly says Daniel can contact Dr. Lopez if he feels it's necessary. Daniel then reveals that he has already sent the videos to Dr. Lopez and scheduled a video conference, which will take place in the next episode.
She found the key, didn't she? Find the key? How the hell did she know that? Is that what happened with your husband? Do you know how he did it? Please respond. Come on. Great. Yes, but not ready to share. Talk soon. Well, the internet is full of crazy people.
After a brief conversation with Mary Q, Daniel finally receives a call from Dr. Lopez. At first, there is strange static over the doctor's image. After reacting to the videos, Dr. Lopez reveals that Shelly's new symptoms are problematic. Shelly mentions feeling constantly exhausted, while the doctor suggests increasing the dosage of a specific medication to improve her sleep. However, he orders her to stop taking fertility treatments, suspecting they might be linked to her sleepwalking episodes. Shelly resists the idea, but ultimately seems to agree. Dr. Lopez then asks how they obtained the videos. Daniel admits that he has been monitoring Shelly with cameras to find answers. However, the doctor criticizes this approach, arguing that turning their lives into an experiment could worsen her condition. Daniel and Shelly protest, claiming that without the recordings, they wouldn't even know half of what's happening. Despite their arguments, Dr. Lopez stands firm, advising them to stop. On the other hand, Daniel asks how to explain finding the keys without knowing where they are. The doctor responds that he hasn't had enough time to review all the footage. Still, he assures them that sleepwalkers often do strange things that likely have scientific explanations, dismissing Daniel's hint at a possession theory during the video call. Despite the doctor's stance, Daniel and Shelly seem frustrated, feeling that Dr. Lopez doesn't fully grasp the severity of the situation. Moreover, his dismissive attitude and recommendation to stop monitoring only deepen his sense of distrust, as if he doesn't want the truth to come out. Shelly reflects on her condition, suggesting that she needs to listen to what's happening, and insists that Daniel keeps her in the house that night. The tension escalates when the following occurs.
I think I know what you are. It's okay. I'm listening now.
Daniel receives a new message from Mary Q, possibly the most revealing yet. They are in your life. They work together. Don't trust anyone. The series has already provided enough clues for us to grasp what's happening, or at least form a vague idea. However, as I mentioned before, I'll maintain the mystery a little longer for those who still don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, Daniel decides to dig deeper into the LV virus, discovering that it might be a mutation of the Tangipahoa encephalitis virus, which had been eradicated. I understand this virus appears in another work by this creator, but it isn't strictly necessary to watch that to understand Married to a Sleepwalker. Let me know in the comments what the Tangi virus is, or if you'd like me to make a video about it. Shelly locks herself in a room and tries to fight whatever is inside her. In doing so, she cuts her hand with a knife. To her shock, something strange emerges from the wound along with her blood. Though we don't yet know what it is, from this point on, the situation surpasses a point of no return. Daniel and Shelly are under attack.
Shelly, open! What the hell was that?
Daniel, I think we're being attacked.
Shelly? Shelly? Shelly?
Two days pass, and Shelly is still missing. Multiple individuals broke into the house and took her away. Despite the cameras covering all angles, they couldn't capture conclusive evidence, suggesting that the perpetrators had been watching them for a long time and knew their methods. The scene shifts, and we see an unknown car approaching the house. A man steps out, and the person from the beginning notices and decides to retreat. Keep this detail in mind for later. The man turns out to be a detective visiting Daniel to discuss the events of that night. He has reviewed the camera footage but implies that it could all be a hoax, criticizing how convenient it is to have everything recorded. He also mentions that the recordings show strange occurrences, such as Shelly's nocturnal wanderings and apparent aggression. The detective suggests that Daniel might be involved in her disappearance. Daniel insists he's trying to help his wife, but the detective remains unconvinced. He warns Daniel not to leave the area until everything is resolved and decides to leave him alone for now. Finally, Daniel receives a cryptic message from Mary Q. Your wife will return in 6 days. Remember, this person experienced what Daniel is now going through, so it's not surprising they'd know the exact number of days Shelly will take to return. What's odd is, how do they know she's missing? Mary Q must be someone close to Daniel, a character we've already seen. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The 7th video begins with Shelly returning home, acting as though nothing ever happened. But something is different. It's as if she isn't herself. Despite having been abducted, she seems to remember nothing. She tries to move on as if it's just another day, but Daniel cannot ignore what occurred. While Shelly insists that everything is fine, Daniel remains deeply concerned that something more sinister is happening. After Shelly's return, the detective visits the house again, supposedly to ensure everything is in order. But when the camera focuses on him directly, the static, the same static that appeared during the video call with Dr. Lopez, the way Shelly touches his arm, this can no longer be overlooked. Remember the message from Mary Q. You see it clearly now, don't you? Daniel cannot trust anyone. They're all in on it. The Earth is being invaded. The so-called detective abruptly closes the case, clearly uninterested in continuing because beings like him were the ones who abducted Shelly. He later returns with a perfect excuse to convince Daniel. Some alleged kids were responsible for vandalizing the house. However, he dismisses any connection between the vandalism and Shelly's abduction. According to him, Shelly must have simply climbed out a window and wandered off without Daniel noticing. Shelly, of course, finds this explanation perfectly reasonable and accepts it as the most plausible one. Shelly is no longer Shelly. This leaves Daniel full of doubts, unable to believe that everything could be reduced to such a simple coincidence. Meanwhile, Dr. Lopez assures Daniel that Shelly has returned to normal, possibly due to stopping the fertility medications. Although Daniel wants to believe that everything is resolved, he can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. Shelly, however, insists they leave it all behind and start fresh, trying to convince Daniel that everything is fine. From this point forward, Shelly stops sleepwalking, eventually persuading Daniel to remove all the cameras from the house. We then see Daniel reacting to another video by Dr. Randall Barr. Watch it for yourselves. Everyone is falling like flies.
I think the worst is behind us. The death rate has reached what I would consider an acceptable point. In other words, the curve has flattened.
What makes you say that?
Math. LV is considerably more contagious than we originally thought. Most of us have it at this point and are fine. I think the best thing people can do is live their lives and accept LV is going to be a part of our lives going forward.
What about a vaccine?
We will be fine without a vaccine.
Finally, we see Daniel convinced that everything has been resolved, confidently announcing that the next video will show them at the beach. He couldn't be more wrong. The penultimate video reveals Daniel trying to resume a normal life with Shelly. They're even taking a trip together. But Daniel's bad luck, as expected, ensures that strange things don't take long to resurface.
Hey babe, I'm going to get something to eat. You want anything? That noise. That freaking noise. And I might have let it go if it wasn't for that email from Mary Q. I know it's crazy to put so much faith in someone you never met, but she's been pretty dead on. And who knows, she, or maybe he, whoever the hell is a part of this, manipulating me. Who knows, but I had to see where the rabbit hole went.
As we've seen, Daniel decides to install ultra-small security cameras to regain some control over the situation. These reveal that Shelly is acting strangely again when he isn't home. Then, just as she used to discover the keys, Shelly finds the hidden cameras.
Why are you still recording me?
Because you're not well?
What? I haven't sleepwalked in weeks. Why can't you be glad that this whole thing's over?
Because it isn't.
You know what? I think that you like me sick. Like me being dependent on you. Why can't you just accept that things are normal now and be happy for once?
This isn't normal. I don't even think you're even you anymore.
What? What does that even mean?
It means I don't think my wife ever came home.
Then who am I?
I don't know, you tell me. What happened in the woods?
I told you. I don't remember.
Yeah. I've already heard that. So how about this time you try telling me the truth?
I'm not doing this with you.
I need you to cut your hand. I need to see your blood.
I'm leaving.
Shelly. Come on, Shelly, please.
Let's go!
Come on. Shelly? Oh, shit.
Daniel confronts Shelly, who is tied up. He demands to know what happened during her abduction and accuses her of not being herself. Shelly gives evasive answers and even tries to manipulate him emotionally. However, Daniel is determined to get to the bottom of it. Guided by the message from Mary Q, he grabs a knife and cuts her to see her blood, revealing something he could never have imagined. Her insides are full of worms. What you are about to see is the final sequence of Married to a Sleepwalker, fully subtitled so you don't miss a thing. Everything is about to take a dramatic turn. Once again, this is truly unmissable.
What the hell is that on the floor? Will you talk to me?
You need to untie me before this gets out of hand.
Out of hand. This is pretty much out of hand. I mean, are you even Shelly anymore? Are you?
What does it matter? You're not gonna believe me one way or the other.
I'll believe whatever you tell me.
Good. First, you need to go and take my friends and put them inside something safe.
Your friends.
On the floor.
You're not Shelly. Who the hell are these people?
I would not do that.
Why not?
Because the minute you walk out that door, they're gonna kill you.
Why would you even tell me that? Wouldn't it be easier just to let them do it?
Yes. But Shelly loves you. And if something were to happen to you, it would cause her sadness. And we can't let that happen. It would make her less manageable.
We? The worms?
I don't want to sound like one of your movies, but we are not of this world. The term you use is alien.
Look, all I want is my wife.
That's not possible.
Why? Why is that not possible?
Shelly and us are one now. If we left, millions would die. You see, Daniel, Shelly now represents millions of our people. And if she dies, it would be like wiping out an entire country. I'm sure you can understand that we cannot let that happen.
Who the hell is that?
May we come in? Put down the knife.
You put down the gun.
We are gonna be brutally honest here. You know way more than we'd like. Most of us would like to eliminate you.
Look, I just want my wife back.
We are joined. That colony will be with her till the end of her days. Their children will populate another, and another, and so on, and so on.
Well, then, take me instead.
We tried, but some bodies reject us. Most of them do not survive.
LV?
Yes, LB. Originally, we used mosquitoes as transport. A way for our children to populate other colonies. New bodies. Warm bodies.
So this is an invasion.
Colonization. It's more like cohabitation.
I don't care what the hell it is. I'm not gonna let you get away with this. Jeez, you were supposed to be finding a cure, but instead you were making it worse.
Humans. I wish we were compatible with dogs or anything else on this miserable rock. But here we are. Do the right thing. Let Shelly go.
Let Shelly go.
Let Shelly go.
You know what? I'm taking my wife. I'm getting the hell out of here. Wait.
Why? Would it not be easier if you were just gone?
There's no risk here.
We see it differently. That's unfortunate.
execute this man. Besides, he was just defending himself.
I'm sorry it had to be this way. You should know that Shelly is not gone. We influence, but we try not to interfere. You could have lived your whole life with her, but you had to know you couldn't just be happy.
Please, don't take my wife.
Goodbye. Finally, there's life.
No. Wait. I'm gonna tell everybody.
Tell whomever you want. Those we have bonded with will see whatever we want them to see. A movie. Those who can't or haven't will see a crazy man.
The biggest twist yet is just about to unfold.
What do you want?
I wanted to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, what do you know about all this?
I pay attention. I really like the videos that you post. I also go by Mary Q.
What?
She's my sister. They use her alias to help others like us. The immune. Come on, let's get you out of here.
Yes, it was all about an alien invasion. I think it was pretty clear even before the big reveal. When Shelly would stare at the sky and make strange sounds, she was actually communicating with others of her species. That's why, during the attack, they knew exactly how to proceed. They knew where the cameras were. Another thing I noticed is that an infected person doesn't immediately fall under the full control of the invading colony. It's a process. This process isn't just evident in Shelly, but also in characters like Dr. Lopez and especially Dr. Randall Barr. At first, Dr. Barr was determined to fight the pandemic, but later he completely changed his stance, accepting the virus as if nothing mattered anymore. Now a few explanations I've saved for the end. The reason they never discovered in time that Shelly had LV is likely because she refused. Well, she under the colony's control refused. As for why Mary Q chose to walk away the first time the detective appeared, it's because he already knew he wasn't human. I really enjoyed the series, it's quite clever at times. That said, if I had to point out a few negatives, it would be the attack scenes, the UFO appearance, and the action sequences. They came across as pretty cheap looking, although that's to be expected from a low-budget series. Another aspect that could have been handled better was the reveal of Mary Q's identity. I mean, he literally lives next door. Couldn't he have helped more directly instead of sending cryptic messages? I also noticed a couple of minor plot holes, but I don't hold it against the series given its nature. What about you? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments section. There's still something I haven't shown you. The ending of the final episode, which utterly crushes any hope humanity might have had to fight back against this apocalyptic threat.
So is the LV virus alien in nature?
To say LV is alien in nature is unbelievably ridiculous. But as we've already seen, there's a small group of the population that will believe any ridiculous conspiracy theory tossed on the internet. These are the same people that wear aluminum foil hats. You can trust your government. We have your best interests at heart, and we will do everything we can to protect you. And if you don't believe us, I'm confident that you will soon.
Once again, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you have any topics you'd like me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comments section. Remember, this video was made by a cat, and cats can't talk. Take care, and see you soon.